BTN show, but just your reaction to what that Coach of the Year award means to you, and just kind of reflect on what the season has been for you personally.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's a reflection on the program, and we've got a lot of people that are responsible for where we are right now, and there's so much. The guys that are on the bench with us every game, but also the guys that are doing a lot of the work behind the scenes, and those are the guys that are so much for us, at least appreciated. I think go a little unnoticed at times. Michael Banya, we call him Kenny because of Seinfeld, Kenny Banya, Amy. But anyway, Michael does such a great job. And, those guys put in so many hours. And, right now, for example, we're preparing for 3 teams. And just all the video work that goes into that, the long hours that those guys are putting in. Our recruiting coordinator right now with things about to get crazy in that regard with Paid and Borders, with, Emmanuel Tommy, player personnel, all the guys that are really helping, get us to where we are at this point. So, I'm proud of our program for where we are, but there's so many people that are responsible, for all the awards that are given at this time of year with Casey being recognized, with Rink being recognized. I sure wish Juwan would have gotten, some very much deserved defensive player, just, with our numbers where they are, but we're in a good place. I feel really good about things at this time. We just can't get complacent. We got to stay hungry. We have to go into this with it's a tough time because we have no idea who we're going to play. We're going to put different edits in our film session tomorrow and go through plays from all the teams that we might face on Friday. But, right this time of year now is about, a lot of mental preparation. We're adding actions, to try to maybe steal a basket, much needed basket, working on situations, special situations at this time of year. But, this is the fun time, as I've talked about, with what we have right now, with all the blood, sweat, and tears you go through to get to this time of year to be playing meaningful games in March. And we put ourselves in a great position. And, now it's about continuing to go out there and doing the same thing. We don't need to go out and reinvent the wheel. We just need to go out and do the same things that we've been doing that have made us a very successful basketball team these last 6 to 8 weeks of the season. And going into this, I think winning 7 of 8 and, being in a good place. So I'm excited about it. It's, this is what it's all about. You want to put yourself in a position to compete for championships and, to get ourselves a double bye, go into Minneapolis, hopefully doing something that the women's team did, and using that as motivation, for what they accomplished and having a chance to, beat the national runner-up last year and losing in overtime. So, it's just it's a great time of year, and I think our guys are ready for it.
Coaches recognizing Casey as a second-teamer, obviously his numbers speak for themselves, but how tough of a scout is he, you think, for opposing coaches going through?
Well, I can promise you the number one guy that they talk about when they're facing us is what are we going to do with Casey, and he just demands so much attention, and the growth I've seen Casey, the most growth I've seen with him is his ability to move without the ball, and I thought at times our spacing was really good the other day against Michigan, which allowed him to get to the basket. I thought he set some really good random screens, and when teams are up on him, he got Juwan a layup in transition. He set a flare screen and slipped to the basket and got a layup. And he got to the basket multiple times, when we did a good job running to the corners, sprinting to the corners, and getting our floor spaced early in the possession. Juwan found him twice, coming down to hit threes. And then he hits the dribble up 3 from the logo. Those aren't plays that we draw up. But, when he gets it going and has those heat check moments, we certainly live with those shots. So, it's fun to see, Casey get it going, and it's even more fun for a coach to see your guys hunting him and finding him. And that's what it's all about. And we've had multiple players that have had halves like that. Bryce had a 20-point half. CJ certainly had it going on multiple occasions to where the guys find him. Rink in the Ohio State game when he hit 6 threes. Josiah, in a couple games. So, when you have guys like that get it going, it's fun to see your team find that where we don't have to call a play. They just go out there, and that's what we did against Michigan. We didn't run a lot of plays. We just it was a read and react type system, and I thought our guys did a really good job of taking what the defense gave us that day.
What does it take to win in conference tournament play, not just the basketball aspect, but the attrition of potential back-to-back-to-back?
Yeah, it's a lot of mental toughness. Obviously, this week we have to make sure we're fresh going into it with the potential of what could happen. And, when you look at the 8 o'clock game, and if you're fortunate enough to get by that one, the next game's at 2:30. That is a hell of a tough turnaround. I've never had anything like that. We were fortunate to cut down the nets twice in Kansas City when we were at Iowa State, but the games are spread out pretty well, and you get 24 hours rest. So we're going in there, not knowing who we're going to play, potential to play 3 teams, all that pose different challenges, and just go one at a time. I mean, that's certainly the mindset going into this. You can't look at, okay, who might we play in the championship? No, we got Michigan, we've got Penn State, or we've got Indiana on Friday evening, and then you go from there if you're fortunate enough to get by it. But, this week, from a preparation standpoint, I did listen to the sports science guys on this one because we have to be fresh going into this first game on Friday night.
Mental toughness conversation. I know there's not a lot of NCAA tournament experience with this group, but what about it with the makeup and the veteran leadership that leads you to believe they're going to be able to handle just all that comes with postseason play?
I think they've handled pretty much every situation we've been in very well, Robin. So, it's just a matter of continuing on with that. And again, doing the things. We don't have to go out and do anything different than what we've been doing. Just continue on with what's made us a pretty damn good basketball team here down the stretch. And, we're going to play really good teams from this point on. And, it's about going out and preparing the same way that we have been. Our preparation has been on point with these guys, and you can tell by our defensive numbers with what they've been. And, that doesn't change. We have to defend. We have to rebound at a high level if we want to win at this time of year. And I'm confident our guys will continue on that just with the way they've prepared. Listen, this is the fun part. You got to enjoy the ride. I mean, it's a stressful time, more so for the coaches, but these guys have to enjoy the position that they put themselves in. They're going to remember what they're about to embark on for the rest of their lives. I remember my first NCAA tournament that I played in Worcester, Massachusetts, and I'll never forget that win. And then the opportunity to play Kentucky in the second round, which we lost 106-98, which defense wasn't optional that game. But it's what you prepare for. It's why you do this. It's why you play this game. It's why you coach in this profession, is to have the opportunity to do something special like we're about to come up on.
How do you prepare for 3 possible opponents going in?
Well, again, that's the behind-the-scenes work that everybody's working on right now with our assistant coaches, with video, with our GAs. Everybody is got an assignment on what they're due. We'll scout the first game on Wednesday. We'll leave tomorrow to go up to Minneapolis, and we'll have a couple coaches at the game. We'll have a team-building activity tomorrow night. We'll practice at the Timberwolves facility on Thursday afternoon, getting ready for the Friday night game. We'll have a shoot-around, I think at 9:15 or 9:30 on the day of the game on Friday. So, we've still got 3 days, to prepare, and we're going to look at all 3 teams and work on all 3 of their plays. We'll do a first look at both teams tomorrow. We do have the benefit of just playing Michigan, if it happens to be them. And, we Penn State with their pressure. We'll have to work on our press break the next few days with Indiana and their size, and they're playing great basketball right now. We have to be ready for, to defend the post, to be ready to defend high-low actions. So it's 3 completely different teams. It's not like you're playing and preparing for 2 teams that are going to pound it inside. It's a completely different prep. So we're going to have to be ready for whoever comes out of those first 2 games for Friday night.
Fred, on the radio last night, you said that this team is one of your all-time favorites. Can you just kind of touch on that a little bit more? Why?
Yeah, it is one. It will absolutely go down as one of my favorite teams. Last year is one of my favorite teams that we coached, even though we didn't have the opportunity to play in the postseason. That was what was so devastating about losing that first game in Chicago last year, to lose to Minnesota, is that took us out of whatever it was, NIT or the chance to play in the NCAA tournament, because of how well that team played and what they did to fight through adversity. I'll always be grateful for that group. I was texting with Sam Griesel earlier today, and just, told him I'll always be grateful for the opportunity to coach you for what you did to help, flip the narrative here and build the culture that we want and what we're going to need in the future. And, this team, the way that they've come in from day one, it's one of the most professional groups that I've had the opportunity to coach. Whatever role they have, they come in here and play to the best of their ability and play the role to the best, to be the best version of themselves. So, it really has been a group that, I've loved being around. They're coachable. They're, I've talked a lot about this. They're on time, and they play for each other. And that was one thing. You have great opportunities over the course of the season. When Kevin McHale comes in, one of the top players of all time, just saying how much fun our team is to watch because of how hard they play, and they're in a defensive stance, and they play for each other. It's great to hear that from a Hall of Fame player, top 50 player of all time, when he recognizes that. So, it's just a fun group to be around, and I really hope that, we have the opportunity to come back here in 20 years and be recognized as the group that, gave us the first opportunity, to win in March. So, it's just, again, love being around them, and, it will always be a group I'll remember.
Fred, is there any value for your guys in recognizing that history and understanding the opportunity in front of them to be that first team?
Yeah, I mean, we talk about it, we're not going to run from it, and, pressure's a privilege. I mean, you put yourself in a position at this time of year to go out there and hopefully do it. There's been some great teams in the history of Nebraska basketball, and, I would put this group up there with some of those teams. A lot of the teams I played against, I mean, those are some special groups, and anything can happen in March. I mean, we were a 3 seed and got beat in the first game of the tournament. I mean, that stuff happens. I know it's happened here. So, we just have to prepare and go out there and, again, not get away from who we've been or what we've done. So, yeah, we talk about it and, the opportunity to do something special. I mean, those guys were around. I made sure they were around when the team that won the Big 8 championship was here in the Northwestern weekend. I made sure our guys were around them, and they had really good conversations with those players. And just to see the reception that group got, if you take it to the next level, what potentially, when these guys come back for hopefully reunion, whenever that is, to be recognized. But, we've still got work to do, obviously. And, we're going to continue to prepare at a high level. I can promise you that. And hopefully go out there and make this a group and a program that has the chance to have sustained success and be a winning program. And, hopefully we'll get there.
Fred, you've had success in conference tournaments before. From a basketball standpoint, what do you got to do really well in order to make a run?
Well, at this time of year, you have to defend, and you have to rebound, and you have to take care of the ball. I mean, everything that we've talked about with the group this year, the keys don't change. You just have to go out there and again, the old mantra, one at a time. That's what it's all about at this time of year. And don't ever, there was one year we beat Texas, Oklahoma, and Kansas, and we were down double digits to all 3 teams in the second half, and came back and cut the nets down after beating Kansas in the final. So you just got to go out there and continue to battle and grind. And I'm excited. I hope we have a great crowd up there in Minneapolis. It sounds like our ticket allotment has gone pretty quickly. So, I think the fans recognize this group and how special they can be and what they've done. And, now it's up to us to continue on with that.
Did you think you got a steal with Rink when you got him in the offseason? And when was he first on your radar? Did you just track him at Bradley throughout? Or
Yeah, right away.
not knowing what would happen?
Sure, right away. Luca Virgilio was a huge part of us getting Rink, and it's then you go in and you do a home visit. We flew to Peoria and met with him, and once we got him to campus and showed him how we were going to play and how we were going to use him, I think he fell in love with the system. So as soon as he went into the portal, we were on him. And, again, when you have players like that in the open spread offense that can make a shot and make a play, it's a really good system for them. And then his rebound ability is, ability to make a play for a teammate has been awesome for our team. So, yeah, we were fortunate. We were lucky to get Rink and certainly happy to have him on our team.
Hey, Fred, you talked about Iowa State a little bit. And they're projected widely to be playing maybe in Omaha next week. What's maybe a characteristic of that fan base that travels? And then is there a memory or two that comes to mind for you as a player or as a coach where you saw that fan base travel and make a difference?
Yeah, I mean, when you look at the conference tournament as a player, back in the old Big 8 at Kemper Arena, it was always Kansas, Iowa State, and we were fortunate to have those matchups a lot. And then when we played them in the Big 12, tournament final, it was half Iowa State, half Kansas. I mean, that place, you know, Amy, you know, you were there. I mean, it's awesome, you know, when you have your fan base, you know, that travels like that. And, you know, we had a good showing in Michigan. I was really pleased with our fan base. You know, you hear the Go Big Red, you know, going on the road. You know, that's huge for a lot of times you say, hey, the 15 guys on the bench, that's all we got. You know, when you have a group there pulling for you, that makes a big difference. So, you know, like I said, I'm hoping we have a good following up in Minneapolis. But yeah, those, I guess, Big 12 tournaments that we coached in, that, you know, we were fortunate enough to win, our fans at Iowa State played a huge part in that.